What's going on, my beautiful black people? It's God Molecular, here to spread the religion of Mofadai, which is the religion of no religion, here to dismantle and disassemble all religion by the year 2034. I thank you guys for tuning in. I come as Amen, reincarnated this new age, that of the 226th dynasty, which stemmed from King Solomon, who held a descendant by the name of Haile Selassie I, who occupied that of the 225th dynasty. 3 salutes. Ready? Go. And that is in tribute to Amen, as he was known as the Most High and the most logical being or deity at his time. I come as him reincarnated to usher in the new age of Aquarius, also known as the age of the Six, as we have transpired from the age of the Pisces, also known as the age of the Seven, and that is as of August 21st, 2017, titled Day of the Great American Eclipse. I thank you guys for tuning in. I thank you guys for joining. It's God Molecular. So I give these lectures and I give these speeches, on wisdom and knowledge and understanding, because there are a lot of people in today's age, especially a specific people, black people, which is that specific people, that are becoming conscious of their own sense of existence. Black people are becoming very intellectually comprehensive of divine cosmic intelligence. We no longer call coincidences coincidence. We are able to identify divine timing. We are able to understand numerical sequences. And we have indulged into the epitome of biological knowledge. Thus, we have come into a new truth that is going to incline our consciousness into a greater or higher understanding. So there are people who have a certain perspective, who were born in a certain perspective. And you study perspective. Perspective could be traced back down to the subatomic positioning of our reality, of life. Because atoms are placed in perspectives. And these perspectives then become shapes. The octagon, the hectagon. And these shapes persuade their environments. And once these environments are persuaded, thus a sense of energy is released. And that energy causes a reaction. A reaction that turns into a sense of existence or reality. Understanding the cosmos is very simple. If you are thinking a certain thought or you're questioning your intuition, and a fly comes up to you and lands on your forehead, at the same exact time you are thinking or asking your intuition this question, then you are to correspond that answer with the timing and the moment that fly landed on your head. because you have received your answer. And if you can do things of this nature, you are considered to be a sage, a master manipulator of matter, of time, of atoms, of cells. And in this comprehension, this intellectual comprehension, you receive a sense of guidance that can take you into a higher consciousness. And in that higher consciousness, everything around you becomes obsolete. And what I mean by that is that you only focus on yourself. Everyone talks about the law of attraction, but no one talks about the law of repelling. Both attraction and repelling are cosmic principles of guidance. Both have a sense of intelligence because both deal with destiny, and destiny is real. Destiny could be traced back to the beginning of the universe because the reaction from the action of the beginning of the universe could be quarantined down to the very arcsecond of your present reality. For instance, imagine a row of dominoes. Imagine there was a great long 2-mile extension row of dominoes set up. Now imagine your finger, taking your finger and pushing that first domino so that all the rest of these dominoes could fall into place. The very moment that your finger came in contact with that first domino, that very moment has traveled to the end of that row of dominoes. That very moment influences the reaction from the rest of these dominoes falling into place. The very moment that your finger comes in contact and pushes that first domino down, that action caused a reaction and transferred energy, because energy is never ending. That action caused a reaction. Now, the time that the first domino was pushed and the time that the last domino fall are two different moments in the cosmos. Two different moments. But if it had not been for the pushing of the first domino, the last domino wouldn't have been affected, wouldn't have failed. So every instance in your life can be traced back or is a domino effect of the very beginning of time. Every instance. So if you're questioning your intuition and that fly comes and lands on your head, this is your destiny. That answering of your question of your intuition is a reaction to the very beginning of time. So this is why down to the very atomic level, Perspective is a factor amongst all of intelligence, because where things are placed in the cosmos, where things are placed in the cosmos deals with the environmental consequence of reality. This life is not a holographic life, you know. Scientists such as Bruce Lipton and Paul Sagan, they like to say things of this nature. Carl Sagan, I'm sorry. Zachariah Sitchin. They like to say things of this nature, that this world is just a holograph. It's a hologram. It's a holograph that is expounded upon the light of your mentality. But they confuse me when they say the word light, you know. Because in light you can find no darkness, thus making it a recessive action. But in darkness you can find light. If you took a plant and placed it in a dark basement, that plant will still grow. It will sprout. If you took a seed, put it in soil, and put it in a dark cabinet, it will still sprout. That is because there's light, or whatever impact that light has inside of darkness. This makes darkness the dominant of the two. Darkness had to have existed first. And you can learn that from the birth of a baby, of a child. Because every child born is born with their eyes closed. They're introduced to darkness before light. From darkness comes light, and you can bear witness to that as you blink. Each and every time you blink, you are living in synchronized duality as you do this. Because when you close your eyes for that slight arc second, you are staring and looking at darkness. And when you open them back up, there's light. And if you trace that action, like I said, back to the birth of a child who was born with their eyes closed, you will see that dominance is in darkness. Darkness had to have existed first. A lot of people who comes into spirituality, they like to say, I'm a light worker, I'm a person of light, I'm spreading light. I'm a light being. But they do not include in the very dominant presence of darkness, right? You study people that have near-death experiences. They say when they die or have nearly died, they bear witness to a light. There's a light in that death. They see a light. And most people gravitate towards that ideology of death. Seeing that light. There's a light that looks like I'm walking through a tunnel and I see this light. You know, you study people who have these near-death experiences. But you have brothers like myself who say that if there is light in that instance, that means that darkness has to be present, because that's the only way you can bear witness to light. Darkness has to be present. Unless you are conscious that you are seeing light. Let's say that you but stuck in a white room where there's nothing but light. Unless you are conscious of darkness, if you aren't conscious of the existence of darkness in that instance, then you cannot say that it is light. So the darkness surrounds that light, which is what's most important to me, because when I look up in the sky and I see stars, the only way that I can see them is because of the darkness that is behind them. For every star that you see in the sky, there's more darkness present. The only way that you can see stars is because of the darkness that's behind them. So for these people who have these near-death experiences, who bear witness to this light that looks like it's at the end of a tunnel, using my imagination, when they describe that to me, a light that's at the end of a tunnel, what I see surrounding that light, using my imagination, is darkness. When you have a dream, you can dream of a broad day experience with your eyes closed, right? You could dream of daylight with your eyes closed. This is in darkness. So this is why spirituality deals with darkness. And darkness deals with the deepest conscious levels of the unknown. And the unknown is what fuels the intelligence of the black man and woman, the melanated being. Simply because we want to learn, we have to learn the unknown, and the unknown is continuous, it's infinite. So therefore, we are on an infinite path of learning. We are the only beings capable of learning the unknown, simply because there is darkness within our very existence. That is the purpose of life. Other than that, life is pointless. Everything around you is 1,000,000% pointless. Life is pointless. Everything. You talk to those who have great riches and wealth, they're not satisfied. You talk to those who are poor and in poverty, they're not satisfied. You talk to those who are happy and joyful, they have the potential of sorrow. And you talk to those who have sorrow and mournfulness inside of them, they have the potential of happiness. Therefore, making everything pointless. That is one of the most consequential lessons of learning all the divine, is that everything is pointless. Everything. This is why pyramids were built without pointy tips on their tops. This is a metaphor. You can go and stand right on the top of a pyramid. This is a metaphor. A metaphor to let you know that everything, no matter how great, everything is pointless. And after your cosmic awakening and an understanding that everything is pointless, you have to give yourself the strength to carry on with a pointless life. And that is intelligence and beauty. An intelligence and a beauty that spirituality provides. Simply because, from the very beginning of time, if things that are out of your immediate control contributes to the answering of your thoughts, you have a broad purpose, my beautiful black gods and goddesses. You have purpose. I hate to debate or talk with people who are very foolish in their understanding. People who use books and Wikipedia and Google to get their overall points across. I hate speaking with these debaters, these philosophers. Because not only can I do the same, but I understand that cosmic comprehension deals with the inclusion of knowledge. And in knowledge, you will find the embodiment of the black being. In knowledge. In knowledge, you will find the entity of black beings. And with that, the intuition. The intuition is the arbitrator of research and science. The intuition determines what is factual and what is not. The intuition. You go to a university right now. What are they going to do? You enroll into a college institution. They're going to give you a bunch of books. They're going to give you a bunch of books from a bunch of writers and authors and tell you to educate yourself and prepare for an exam with these books. But if you study these books, they have authors, people who created them. So that means that these authors have developed a perspective outside of this book that they've written. And the source of that perspective comes from interpretation, the perspective that they were born into. Interpretation. Being able to interpret the metaphysical of life. Being able to interpret the metaphysical of life makes you a leader in the cosmic realm, not research. Because like I said, that author developed concepts and perspective outside of the book that he written. Before there was any actual literature, this author had these things inside of themselves. You go to this author and you ask this author, where did you get your understanding to write this book? And this author may tell you that I got it from another book or perspective. And you go to that author of that book and perspective and you ask them, where did you get your knowledge and understanding? My point is, writers create scholars. Writers create readers, and readers create scholars. But where do the writer get their knowledge? Imagine there was no other book to read for this writer. All books on this planet was burned, taken away, non-existence anymore. Imagine there was no book for this author to read. Where would this author develop perspective and knowledge and intellect? And that is the spiritual understanding. The answer to that is spirituality. And that spirituality is based off of the perspective that this individual was born in. And you study perspective, you look down to the atomic level and you see that the perspective of atoms and how they sit, what position they're in, their polarities, that is the actual influence of the atom. That is the reasoning that the atom exists. Not the actual energy that the atom composed of, but the perspective, the position of which the atom is in, is the overall reason that this atom influences what is later on going to become, which is anything. And this is the understanding of perspective. Spiritual perspective from a human experience. This is not a holographic world, a hologram that we live in. Everything is a reaction from the very beginning of time. This is a reaction that we live in. We live in an actual reaction. The physical of life is the most persuasive of all of existence. The physical. You can tell me that you have $1 billion. You can tell me that you have $400 or $500 in your pocket. But unless you can present that to my immediate senses, which deals with the physical, unless you can reveal that to me, then it does not have meaning. It does not exist. So the physical is not a hologram because it does exist. Everything that is physical by the principles of this reality is an existence. Everything that is physical. And then that physical authority, the physical has an influence of persuasion. And anything that could persuade something is powerful, very powerful. Your bed could persuade you to sleep. Your food could persuade you to eat. Anything that has a persuasion is spirituality. You know, a lot of people get uptight when I say that I'm a prophet, you know, or when I say that I am Jesus. A lot of people turn away, you know, they don't like that. They detect that I'm trying to place myself on a pedestal that's higher than themselves, completely muting all the other knowledge of self that I give. Once I say these things, you know, I say that I'm Amen. They mute the message. And I witnessed that is a programming. It's a programming that a lot of us deal with. It's a programming that stems from ego. It's a programming that stems from ego and has the potential to block your cosmic understanding, thus making it destructive. And destruction is not natural. It's not a natural phenomenon. Destruction has to exist, of course, but it's not a natural phenomenon. Doesn't mean that it's not a part of cosmic understanding. It's not a part of the universe. Destruction has to happen in order for there to be creation. But as a black being, destruction should not be a part of your existence. Understanding of destruction is a part of your existence. Being able to manipulate destruction is a part of who you are. But when destruction compromises your mentality, that means that it has infiltrated your energy. Thus, it has subatomically attached itself to your very existence, making it a programming. It is a program. You are indulging in a program. And in prehistoric times, there were beings who were exiled for making such high statements of who they were, beyond the realms of the ultimate God. And by divine universal principality and design, if that was true, all it would take is one person to be able to identify with that truth. thus the redirection of the entire cosmos. One person. Because now there are two people who understand that, and having two forms of information, come together in synchronicity is momentum, is force. And force is the most constructing presence in all of the divine cosmos. Force creating momentum. Thus, if that is to happen, if two come together to believe one person's truth, that is the potential to make it cosmic truth. If I come to you and I was revealed a truth that is considered to be a lie in your understanding and reality, but with my truth, I impact others around me, thus causing the narrative of bonding. With my truth, if I cause others to bond, attract to one another, the lie that which you have comprehended me to give has defined and reconstructed itself into the truth. If I went around and I told a lie, let me make it more appealing. If I went around and I told a lie, right, a flat out lie, and everyone gravitated towards that lie, people started to accept that lie. They started to digest that lie and live their lives on that lie. That, by cosmic principality, makes that lie the actual truth. And this is how teachers of cosmic revelation comes into the world with what seems to be a lie. But if everyone relates to that lie, thus you have the sustainability and the formation of cosmic truth. And this is spirituality. Because the universe, based on the perspective that one was born, the universe gives knowledge that cannot be found anywhere else on this planet. And in that sense, that will make it a lie. That knowledge is false knowledge because it cannot be found anywhere else on this planet. But if that knowledge impacts the lives of others, multiple people, thus the universe has put forth into the world a new truth. And over time, that truth is going to gradually change the ages, mold the ages. This is why people's attention is so important, especially black people, because we are a leadful people. And what I mean by that is we have to have a leader. A lot of people may bash that and say, we can all be leaders. That is true. But within kings, it is intelligent to have one emperor amongst those kings. If you stab someone with a sword, one point, one space of that sword has to enter the body first. One single point of that sword has to enter the body first. And once that point enters the body, it makes room for the rest of the sword to enter the body. Organization is intelligence among spirituality and truth. Because in organization, there's purpose and direction. A lot of people don't even listen to these live audios, that I leave on Facebook. Facebook isn't a place where people tend to assert all of their attention to. And I do this on purpose, I don't release any of my audios and information on any type of radio broadcasting or YouTube pages or podcasting or anything of that nature, because I want to deal with a certain demographic of people. It's kind of like they say in Christianity, the road of the righteous is narrow. I want to deal with the narrow of the populace, because that is where the strength lies, my beautiful black gods and goddesses. That is where the strength is harnessed. So I decrease the chances of foolishness, because Facebook isn't a platform that people tend to give this type, listening to an audio, this type of attention to. And I further decrease the foolishness by making it an audio instead of a video. Because if you do watch Facebook, a lot of us tend to look for videos for information. So if you're listening to this audio and you have tuned in to this audio, then you are a superior consciousness, a chosen being amongst cosmic prophecy, a divine prince or princess, a divine god or goddess, simply because you understand that knowledge can be presented in many forms. And you seeking this knowledge, you may be someone who already has the money. You seeking this knowledge and understanding, that is your greater self. Because I'm here to give you a mission. Thus you can construct purpose. And that mission is to first consciously awaken you. Second, get you into wealth. Third, get you to Antarctica. That is the mission. To get to Antarctica and to establish life and principle there, so that when Pluto and Eris gets close enough to this planet, we will have the necessary technology due to your divine, specific, prophetic intelligence. We will have the technology to get to those planets, so that we may continue to advance the entire cosmos. We have a greater dream. We have a greater understanding as people, as beautiful black melanoid people. We have a greater understanding than what we can imagine. So when beings such as myself come in and I spread this lie, goes back to what I said. Beings like myself, I come into this world and I spread this lie. What seems to be a lie, because it cannot be found anywhere here on this planet. When I spread this understanding, thus I give you a mission that shatters the boundaries of your reality. And that can only be done through your imagination. Once you can start to imagine what you once could not imagine, thus you can manifest a reality on a greater cosmic comprehensive level. You can manifest an unimaginable reality. And that is what I'm here to do, to get you to manifest a unimaginable reality. Because that is the remedy for this entire planet. That is how you advance all of humanity. And we have to, as black beings, we have to consider humanity and our spirituality, because blackness, our being, our existence as beautiful black gods and goddesses, blackness has the core. Blackness has a core of love and compassion. That is what we are made of. Love and compassion. That is our core. That is our composition. Love and compassion is what we are. So this is why we have to consider all of humanity, not be selfish in our spirituality. Some people, say, why are you worried about everyone else? I've heard this so many times. Why are you worried about me? Why are you worried about everything else? Why are you worried about saving the world? Because I'm a God who has a core down to the subatomic components of what I am, of love and compassion. So when I speak on things of advancing all of humanity, I'm speaking from the core, my beautiful black gods and goddesses. And that is true spirituality. That is true cosmic understanding. That is true divine intelligence. But we have to go beyond intelligence. We are beyond intelligence now in this new age. We are beyond intelligence. Next level beyond intelligence is spirituality. And we are even beyond that. We are the unknown. Blackness. We are the unknown itself, destined to learn itself. A continuation in that process is inevitable in a spiritual reality. Blackness is a continuance of the unknown. And learning the unknown gives us direction and movement. A lot of people ask me what happened once you die. When you die, nothing around you changes. You jump 1 second ahead of your time. 1 second ahead of now is always going to be unknown until it happens. Always going to be in the unknown. That's how we know that we're moving forward in time. Because 1 second ahead of you is always unknown. But 1 second behind you, you know it. So when you die, you go into the unknown. And it's important to base your mentality on this concept so that you can build and manifest a rapid advancement of humanity. You can manifest your desires and things of that nature rapidly. Because if you study time, time can move forward so fast that it has nowhere to go and it starts to reverse. This is a scientific fact. Time moves forward so fast that it starts to reverse. We know that we're moving forward in time because you cannot rewind anything. Snap your fingers. Now, can you rewind that instance? No. So that's how we know that we're moving forward in this reality. We are moving forward. Everything that you look at is happening in instances. Even though it seems like a simultaneous movement, everything around you is happening in blanking pictures. And in between that blanking, thus you have the interstellar, what they consider to be the interstellar. It's one of the fastest instances of all of physical reality. The interstellar is the fastest instance in our reality. So, in that forward motion, and in between these pictures of our reality, this gap could be summed up as the bridge of the beginning and ending of a thought. So, for instance, if you drew a circle, a complete circle, under a microscope, down to the very small atomic, subatomic moment, under a microscope, if you study the subatomicness of that circle, if you drew a circle, you will see that in the beginning of that circle, there's a gap between the ending of that circle. There's a gap between the beginning and the ending of that circle. Where you begin the circle and where you ended the circle, there's a gap in between that. And this gap could be the total sum of all of these in-between instances of the continuation of our reality. These skip pictures that we're bearing witness into, even though you can't see the world in a skipping pictorial, it seems like everything is continuous. But if you go an entire lifetime, the in-between notions of that skipping could be summed up to that gap that sits between the beginning and ending of a circle. They all could be summed up and placed in that one position. And that one position, if you looked at it at a macrocosmic level, that one position is your actual self. You are that gap, because that gap would represent the present. So once you die, if you have the thought of the rotation of your thoughts and your mentality, thus you will continue what you know to be this reality. Meaning that you won't even know that you died. Everything around you is going to seem the exact same as it is now. That is the understanding of the pointlessness that I was speaking on. And at some point in time in your death, Planet X, this is the light, that a lot of people speak on. Planet X comes along into your solar system and draws up your energy. It draws up your energy and it spewts out a new energy. Thus, you have an extraterrestrial consciousness. You have a foreign consciousness, a consciousness that's foreign to this planet. And that is when the awakening of your understanding happens. Planet Nibiru was created here on this earth. Everything that you see in your reality now, trees, dirt, everything that's natural to this reality was completely 1,000,000% different, beyond your imagination than it is now. You cannot imagine the originality of Earth because you vibrate too low to do so. So we took the best things, or what was then considered to be perfect minerals. We took the perfect minerals out of all sense of DNA and we crafted. We took the perfect minerals out of rocks, trees, water, soil. We took the perfect minerals of that then perfect world reality that we lived in, and we constructed a super giant crystal here on this earth. A giant crystal. A crystal almost 3 times the size of the moon. And we named this crystal Planet X. What we know today as Planet X, or the new birth, Nibiru. What we know today as Nibiru. And we named it that because every time that it comes into our solar system, it is going to reset our planet. And in order for it to even get near our solar system, the planets have to sit in a certain sequence. A sequence that science have labeled to be astronomically impossible, which is simply all planets aligning up as one. So this will be the cosmic shift. And this old ancient knowledge, some way, somehow, has stuck around because it was attached to our atomic energy, or what makes us our biological selves, is in the intuition. And now we know it to be, since it stuck to the intuition and lasted with the tides of time, we know it to be a pole shift. So when we created this planet, this super mega crystal, it's not a planet. It's not a planet. It's a crystal, a giant crystal, almost 3 times the size of the moon. We constructed this crystal here on this earth, and we sent it into outer space. And whatever it went, it went. But we knew that according to the alignment of the planets, the push and pulls of other universes are going to direct this planet back into our solar system. And once it comes into our solar system, it's going to draw up all of the energy, all of the consciousness of what's considered to be dead. Whatever is considered to be dead is going to draw up that energy, and then it's going to spew forth a new energy, a new field, a field that's going to reflect the electronic power of all atoms around you. And the electronic power boils down to the electron. Because the lesser electrons that are present, the more positive the presence of the atom. The more electrons that are present, that means that there's less positivity. So it's going to reflect the activity of the atomic composure of Earth. Tectonic plates of Earth are going to move around. The Earth's atmosphere, the Earth's stratosphere, is going to change. Floods and earthquakes are going to take place due to the reflection of that electronic power. You study crystals, Crystals manipulate atoms. And this was discovered by a scientist known as Linus Pauling, who called it the close packed perspective, who later on further studied it with X-ray diffraction. Crystals manipulate atomic arrangement. So this is why us in spirituality, we wear our crystals and our gems. They make us feel a sense of presence in their existence. So when we created this giant crystal, it had this responsibility. And this crystal has now left our solar system. I don't know how long it's been in our solar system, but it has left our solar system as of 2017. 2017 was the final year that it stuck around in our solar system. And I seen this crystal with my own 2 eyes. I wish I'd have taken a picture of it or something, but at the moment I wasn't conscious enough to know what I was looking at. But it left our solar system in 2017, and now it's traveling in a direction of the constellation of Osiris, what we know today as Osiris, the Sirius or Osiris constellation. It is in that direction. And we know that because there's a bright star that appears at the dawn of each morning. right next to a full moon. It appears right next to a full moon. Very bright star. In fact, it's the only star at the dawn of this morning that could be seen in the sky next to a full moon. It's the only star that could be seen in the sky. This is the closest star to us, according to science. And of course, science could be lying. Of course. But we have to understand the cosmic reality of which we live in. I posted the other day, like prayer, spells and rituals don't work either. And since the New Age, a lot of people have been witnessing this. My ritual, my spell doesn't work as effective as it once did, or my spiritual, magical self isn't as reflective as it once was. And this is because we've entered a new age. An age that erases and eradicates the once spiritual practice of an entire previous age. Everything that we knew spiritually has been erased and eradicated, dissolved, done, over with. And the reason being is because in this new age, the age of Aquarius, the most enigmatic age to ever happen amongst all of our existence since the very beginning of time. This new age that we are in now, as of 2017, is the most enigmatic, the most mysterious. And that is metaphysically applied in the zodiac. But it's the most mysterious age of them all. Reason being is because we're supposed to create. We are supposed to create new forms of spirituality, new understanding. And in that creation, we are going to manifest the unimaginable. Because the movement of the cosmos is going to influence what we can bear witness to. And this is going to catapult the advancement of all of humanity. So this is why I'm here to utter this message to my people. That we must get to Antarctica and we must get on one land. All melanated people on this planet, we were created. This is our original formation. Is to be on one land. Not scattered, not in this continent, not in Africa, Australia, Asia, America, Europe. We're not supposed to be scattered. That is not our originality. Our originality is to be in one land down to the very newborn of the present second. A lot of people say that you can't save everyone, And being my higher self and understanding what I understand about the divine cosmos, I don't comprehend that. Because I will save every last black melanoid person on this planet. Every single last one of us. I will save us. And it's going to take the movement of the cosmos in order for me to do so. Because we have sense enough to understand a divine leadership. No matter what we believe, we have sense enough as black people in today's time to understand a divine leader. A divine spiritual personnel. We have it within us now. It's fully installed. And that is a reflection of the lowest vibration that we have ever been composed of, we have ever been in. We just have to be revealed a truth by looking up. And looking up is undeniable. You can't deny what you see in the sky. Man has no control over the sky. Hell, we can't even control our own moon. We have no control over the sky. And when the sky moves in a certain way, that is going to present itself to people's imagination. Thus, it is time to advance all of the entire cosmos, not just the earth. We have to advance. We have the sheer responsibility as black people. We have the responsibility to advance the entire cosmos in our life and in our death. And we have to understand that. A lot of things that I speak on, people aren't going to immediately identify with them. A lot of people may say, oh, this nigga tripping. This nigga talking about Pluto, and this nigga talking about this, that, and the third. You listen to my other audios. But those who have a higher sense of cosmic truth, those that have witnessed the fly landing on their forehead and identify that as being an answer, those are the ones that are of a small percentage on this planet. If you're listening to this audio right now, you have been tuning in. You know, even if you don't want to make yourself apparent. A lot of people listen to my audios, you know, and while I'm in the midst of making them, they don't want to make themselves apparent. And that's understood. But don't for 1 second think that I don't know that you are listening. I know who is listening. I know exactly who's listening to my audios. And I'm letting you know that you are a chosen individual. Those who have been tuning in, you are chosen. You are chosen and you have a divine understanding within yourself. And that divine understanding is going to identify with every single last word that comes out of my mouth. Complete and utter consciousness. But as God Molecular, here to spread the religion of Mofadai, which is the religion of no religion, here to dismantle and disassemble all religion by the year 2034. I thank you guys for tuning in. I come as Amen, reincarnated this new age, that of the 226th dynasty, which stemmed from King Solomon, who held a descendant by the name of Haile Selassie I, who occupied that of the 225th dynasty. Three salutes. Ready? Go. And that is in tribute to Amen, as he was known as the Most High and the most logical being or deity at his time. I come as him reincarnated to usher in the new age of Aquarius, also known as the age of the Sixth, as we have transpired from the age of the Pisces, also known as the age of the Seven, and that is as of August 21st, 2017, titled Day of the Great American Eclipse. But I thank you guys for tuning in. I thank you guys for listening. It's God Molecular. Peace.